coming up court?
I was thinking don't call timeout because Steph Curry in the open floor is going to get a better shot than anything we're going to be able to draw up. And I figured he would shoot a three. So what Steph does, and he bailed us out. I think it took a lot of individual brilliance down the stretch to bail us out. But what I told the team was we had to have that because we didn't play as a team for the rest of the game. You know, we kind of messed around with the ball early. You know, when you mess around with a game, there's a karma involved. The game will get you back, and we were really lucky to win that game. But you know, Steph came up big, Clay hit a couple of huge threes, and you know, the defense down the stretch, folks. Andre, Draymond, it was terrific. But yeah, we've got to do it as a group instead of individually, and it'll be a little easier for us if we do it that way.
Coach, I know it's still early in the season and you're still learning each other, but in the clutch, do you feel like you're able to read Steph Curry? Like, do you know what's going through his mind? Do you feel that?
Yeah, I know exactly what's going through his mind. He's going to win the game. He has the ultimate confidence. You know, he had just missed 3 straight threes on the previous possession, and no hesitation, made an incredible move to free himself up, and then hits the game winner. But that's why he's Steph Curry.
Coach, do you feel like the team showed the effects of the road trip in this game?
Yeah. These are always really hard games. We talked about it at shoot-around. You try to prepare for it. You know, we took the day off yesterday. We had to. Our guys were fried emotionally, and so at shoot-around we had a spirited workout. We got them up and down. We broke a sweat. We tried to make it more physical than we usually do, just to get the blood going, try to get the cobwebs out. But these return games, when you come off a long trip, are always tricky.
Yeah, I was going to mention that having been with the Warriors, covered them years ago, they would win 3 or 4 in a row, come home and just lay an egg.
Yeah.
Is it just that the guys are not mentally there? Or that we're finally, quote, home, and you can relax a little bit? Is that what happens?
I don't know what it is, but it's always been the case in my career. It's a tough game when you return. You know, 3 time zones, and you don't practice the day before. It helps if you can get a day of practice in, but we couldn't do that yesterday. We needed the time off. And then I thought, Orlando played fantastic. Oladipo was brilliant. You know, O'Quinn came in for Vucevic and had a brilliant game, and you know, Tobias Harris is a handful. They deserve a lot of credit. I mean, we can sit here and talk about the road trip and the rust and all that, but you know, they come into our building and play like that. I thought they actually deserved to win the game, and I told Jock that after the game. I thought he did a hell of a job with his team. He had them ready without Vucevic. They had a great plan. They put a lot of pressure on us, and we're lucky we have the players that we do, because down the stretch they took over.
You started the fourth quarter with Livingston, Iguodala, and Bogut on the court at the same time. That unit struggled to score, and the team fell down by 6 pretty quickly. Why did you choose that combination of players at that time?
Well, we went back and forth with Bogues and Mo because of foul trouble, and it jumbled our rotation a little bit. We usually have Andre and Sean on the floor together to start the fourth quarter, and what we do is we bring Clay back in pretty quickly. We try to get him as much rest as we can. We get him 4 or 5 minutes at the end of the first and the third quarters. Get Barbosa in there, and then we kind of see how the game's going. Try to buy him a couple minutes to start the fourth. You know, but we need his shooting out there with Sean and Andre, and usually we have Mo out there. I think he picked up his 4th at the end of the third quarter. But that's okay. We can still score with that unit, but we've got to move the ball and we got to execute. And we did not execute very well tonight. We never got into our flow, and part of it was Orlando. They did a good job defensively, and they threw some strange lineups out there. A lot of small ball with Channing Frye at the 5, which is tricky for Bogues because he's got to get all the way out to the 3-point line instead of just guarding the paint. But like I said, they did a heck of a job, and we had to gut it out.
Coach, it looked like they were really hurting you on penetration throughout most of the second half, but then you were able to lock down the last 4 minutes or so. What changed down the end there?
Well, I mean, they have a lot of guys who can hurt you with penetration. I mean, Alfred Payton's a nice rookie. He's got a good feel for the game. Ben Gordon came in and gave them a lift, and of course I mentioned Harris and Oladipo. They've got a lot of guys who can penetrate, and when they put Channing Frye at the 5 and he's out at the 3-point line, that pulls your center out and it opens up the floor. So they ran some good stuff to get those guys driving lanes, and I think just down the stretch, the last couple of minutes, Frye fouled out, and O'Quinn was in, so we could actually, we put Bogues back in the game to protect the rim, and he did a good job of that.
There aren't many teams that have a 5 that can stretch the floor like Channing Frye, but is there really a counter to that if you have Bogut on the floor?
Well, our counter was to have Bogues. We changed our pick and roll coverage. He jumped out and showed early on. We were switching. The switching didn't work that well for us. So down the stretch, we had Bogues jump out and show on the guard, and then get back to Frye. But that's why so many people try to play stretch 4s and stretch 5s these days, because it's a lot harder to cover all the floor when your center's way out of the 3-point line.
Coach, you guys hit huge threes down the stretch, but for most of the game you were cold. How does a lack of threes affect this team and the offense?
Well, we obviously thrive on Clay and Steph and their energy and their shooting, and there's going to be games obviously where they don't hit, and we were 8 for 27 from 3. I thought we took probably some ill-advised ones during the game. It's going to happen, but the whole key with our team is we have to defend and take care of the ball. If we do that, we can win games even when we don't make threes. And tonight we didn't take care of the ball. We had 10 turnovers in the first half. That got us in a little bit of a hole, and our defense was not up to speed. So that's why we were in trouble most of the game, most of the second half anyway.
You're new at this coaching thing. Did you realize you were the type of coach that was going to let your team win or lose it without calling a timeout, or is that just something that happened tonight?
No, I've always believed if you've got individual brilliance, if you have a guy like Steph Curry in the open floor, you let him go. I don't particularly like to call timeouts and give the defense a chance to make substitutions, get their defense set. Everybody scouts every play you run these days. You set something up, and you come out, and they recognize that the coaches are yelling right in front of their bench what's happening. You get Steph Curry in the open floor, that's a way better option.
One last one.
Talk about Draymond Green in the last few minutes there. Did a great job defensively, got some big rebounds, and swatted away that final pass. Even with that sprained thumb, I don't know how bad it is. You talk about his.
Yeah, I mean he's the heartbeat. That's my nickname for Draymond. He's heartbeat. He just whether he's making shots or not. I mean his passion and his energy and his defensive versatility is really critical for our club. And he didn't have his best game, but he was all over the place out there. 6 assists, 7 rebounds, and great defense down the stretch. So he's a big part of our team.
Great, thank you. Locker room is
Thanks.
open.